All right, let's just jump right into this explainer. Imagine taking a raw, beautiful cultural concept and transforming it into a fully interactive educational tech platform. And we're not talking about a process that takes months. We are talking mere days. Today, we're looking at the ultimate digital assembly line. We are going to break down the exact step-by-step flow from generating raw AI content all the way to a live web deployment, seamlessly weaving together these totally different tools into one cohesive K-culture EdTech package. If you've ever wondered how modern educators are stepping up to become digital creators, well, you are in exactly the right place. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with project planning, move into AI content generation, bring it all to life with video production, ship it out via web deployment, and wrap up with a crucial test and polish phase. Let's get to it. Starting with Section 1, K-Culture Project Planning. It's all about setting that rock-solid foundation.
So you might be wondering, how exactly do you take a single cultural idea and build a fully functioning edtech platform so quickly? Well, it all starts with a highly specific theme. For our workflow journey today, we're going to use the traditional Korean garment, the hanbok, as our continuous thread. By focusing on a really specific target, like explaining the actual components of a hanbok, rather than just some vague goal like understanding Korean culture, we give our digital assembly line a crystal clear, actionable blueprint.
No, we can't just throw things together and hope they work. We've got 3 absolute must-haves for a winning platform. First, technical integration. Your AI, video, and web tools have to connect flawlessly. Second, educational effectiveness. There has to be real, measurable learning value for the user. And third, cultural accuracy. We're delivering authentic heritage here, so those historical and cultural details, they need to be absolutely spot on. All right, moving right into stage 1, AI content generation, where we actually create our raw materials. Think of this as the very first machine on our assembly line. We aren't just randomly generating content, we're creating a systematic flow of data. Step 1 uses Google AI Studio to map out structured text lesson plans. Then, the text output from that step becomes the precise prompt input for step 2, where visual AI like DALL-E generates highly specific educational images. Finally, step 3 uses AI to build out components for our infographics. So the raw data from one tool feeds directly into the engine of the next. And this right here is the difference between an amateur and an absolute pro. If you just use a basic prompt like draw a hanbok, you get a generic and honestly often culturally inaccurate image. But look at an advanced input. It specifies the exact era, the social class, the artistic style, and the educational purpose. Joseon Dynasty Yangban Women's Hanbok, ink wash style. Boom. That level of precision is exactly how we guarantee that third success criterion we talked about, cultural accuracy. Next up, stage 2, video production. This is where we bring all that static content to life. Okay, so we've got our beautiful scripts and images from stage 1. Now what? We push them into our dynamic phase. We start by feeding those AI-generated scripts into a tool called Viru for intelligent, automated subtitles. Then we use Google Text-to-Speech to create multilingual dubbing, which makes the culture accessible globally. Finally, we assemble all of these assets, the images, the audio, the subtitles, straight onto a timeline and shotcut for the final edit. Every single piece is snapping together now. The truly mind-blowing part is how these tools transform the data visually. You start with a plain text script, which is just flat words on a page, but push that through Viru, and the output is entirely different. It automatically separates speakers, it applies visual cues based on emotion, and it highlights essential educational keywords right on the screen. It magically transforms a boring document into an engaging, emotion-coded narrative. But wait, while we're generating audio, we have to tackle a massive hurdle in cultural edtech: pronunciation. When you use multilingual dubbing, standard text-to-speech engines absolutely butcher cultural terms. To fix this, we use TTS optimization. We literally feed the AI phonetic guidelines. This ensures a word like kimchi or hanbok is pronounced with the exact authentic local inflection while also adjusting the emotional tone to sound enthusiastic or explanatory. It is a tiny detail, but it makes a massive difference in quality. Which brings us to stage 3, web deployment. Time to ship this thing to the world. So we have the text, we have the images, we have the finished video. Now we complete the flow by building a live digital home. This stage brings in our final tool set. We use GitHub for rigorous code and file management. We lean on Canva to design beautiful, responsive, supplementary resources. And finally, we host the entire package live on the web using GitHub Pages. Look, when you're juggling dozens of AI outputs and giant video files, getting organized is literally survival. A clean directory structure is your absolute best friend and solves the chaos of digital creation. Your GitHub repository has to be structured perfectly. Your Docs folder holds those AI-generated lesson plans. The source or source folder securely stores your raw DALL-E images and shortcut videos. And the public folder, that contains the live site code. This exact setup ensures all those raw outputs from our earlier stages flow seamlessly into a functional web environment. And here is where a little bit of tech magic comes in: GitHub Actions. Instead of manually uploading files every single time you fix a tiny typo in your Hanbok script, you automate the deployment pipeline. The second you push an update to your code repository, GitHub Actions instantly and automatically updates your live EdTech website. It completely removes the friction between creating your content and actually publishing it. Finally, our last stop, the integration test and polish phase. Basically, ensuring quality. Because an assembly line is really only as good as its final inspection, right? Before hitting launch, every project has to pass a strict end-to-end checklist. First, check that data flow. Did the AI text successfully become a video, and does that video embed correctly on the web? Second, compatibility. Keep in mind, GitHub has a strict 100 megabyte file size limit, so are your video assets optimized to fit? And third, user experience. Is your site responsive on a phone, and does it load in under 3 seconds? You're definitely going to hit a few roadblocks during integration. That's just how tech works. But they are totally predictable. Let's build up those troubleshooting skills. If your GitHub deployment fails, it's almost always a path error or a case sensitivity issue. Just test locally and clear your cache. If your beautiful new Hanbok video won't embed, it's usually a codec issue. Make sure you always export using the MP4 H.264 standard. And if your website styling looks completely broken, likely overlapping CSS classes, keep your CSS modularized. Knowing these quick solutions will save you literally hours of frustrating debugging. I absolutely love this takeaway from our source material. By mastering this specific flow, from AI generation to video production all the way to automated web deployment, you are no longer just an educator, but an EdTech expert leading the digital age. You now have the incredible capability to build a comprehensive interactive learning experience completely from scratch. How cool is that? So we've mapped out this entire digital assembly line using the Hanbok as our guide. We've seen exactly how seamlessly connecting these tools can transform a simple idea into a global educational platform. The workflow is there, and the tools are literally right there waiting for you. The only question left to ask is, which piece of your culture will you build and share with the world next? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I seriously can't wait to see what you create.